Hello everyone, welcome to Educare 24/7. This is lecture 22nd of SEBI Grade A 2020 special series. In our 22nd lecture, we are discussing MCQs based on Companies Act 2013, and this topic is very important for your upcoming examination. Educare 24/7 has launched crash course for SEBI Grade A 2020 examination. In this crash course, we are covering whole syllabus of paper 2 and GS of paper 1. We will be providing notes, topic-wise MCQs and videos. Our content are very crisp and concise and very much relevant to your examination. There is golden opportunity for all of you guys. Currently, we are running discount of rupees 1500 on this course. So you can use code SEBI to get this discount. So visit our website, that is educare247.com, and subscribe to this course. So let's start with the MCQs which are based on this topic. So question number 1, which says, according to the Companies Act 2013, which of the following defines a company's relations with the outside world? Options are option A, prospectus, option B, memorandum of association, option C, articles of association, option D, statement in lieu of prospectus. So among all these options, the correct one is option number B, that is your memorandum of association. So whenever we talk about the Companies Act, we need to understand the provisions, the origin of this Companies Act 2013. So this is a act of the Parliament of India, on which this Company Act 2013 has come into picture, which replaced the previous one, that was the Companies Act 1956. So few changes have come into place, like the membership of private company has increased from 50 to 200. So these are the key words which you have to remember while solving the MCQs of the Companies Act related, so that easily you can understand what could be questions can be asked in this particular subject. So come to the point, when we said this memorandum of association, so as per this section 256 of the Companies Act, so this 56 is the clause of the Companies Act 2013, where clearly defined this memorandum means a kind of association of a company, as originally framed or as altered from time to time in the pursuance of any previous company law or of this act. So basically this a kind of the legal document which prepared in the formation and registration process of a limited liability company to define its relationship with all the shareholders. So this is a kind of agreement which explains everything. So as per the section 4 of this Companies Act 2013, which deals with this association, which includes certain components which related with the registration process of the company, like name clause will be there, situation clause will be there, objectives of the company, that has to be clearly mentioned in this agreement, in this document. Next we have liability clause, and last is capital clause, which must defined by the company while starting any company, any business in the country. So this is all about the memorandum of association. So let's move towards another question. Question number 2. What is known as a charter of a company according to the Companies Act 2013? So there are options. Option A, memorandum of association. Option B, bylaws. Option C, articles of association. Option D, prospectus. So among all these options, the correct one, option A, that is memorandum of association. As I have explained in the previous question, this is a document, a legal document which needs to be prepared by the company in the clearly defined by the of the formation of company, the registration process of the company. So hence it is a charter of a company, which is its memorandum of association, and we can say this is an important step in the formation of a company, which is to prepare a document, and that called memorandum of association. It is the charter of the company and is very important document as it contains the basic conditions on which the company is incorporated. So two things here are very clearly defined. So clearly defined, the incorporation of company. It is a foundation. It is a basic foundation of company. So while solving these two questions, I hope you understood the whole idea, the whole meaning of this memorandum of association in the context of Companies Act 2013. So let's move towards another question. Question number 3. According to Section 2, Clause 70 of the Companies Act 2013, prospectus will be issued to whom? Options are option A, company, option B, corporation sole, option C, body corporate, option D, foreign company. So among all these options, the correct one is option C, that is body corporate. So let's understand why it is the correct one for this question. The Companies Act 2013 defines a prospectus under the Section 2 Clause 70, and this prospectus can be defined as any document which is described or issued as a prospectus, in which includes any notice, a kind of circular, advertisement, any kind of document which acting as an invitation to offers from the public, which also known as body corporate. So all this procedure is going to be done for the corporation. Hence the correct one is body corporate. So prospectus is a document, is an invitation process in which everything clearly defined related with the issuing of shares, where it invites public to invest over the securities. So such an invitation to offer should be for the purchase of any securities of a corporate body. Shelf prospectus and red herring prospectus are also considered as a prospectus. So these are the two types of the prospectus. On these types of the prospectus, huge or number of questions could be asked in your examination. So this is all about the question number 3. Let's move towards another question. Question number 4. Which of the following resolutions of Companies Act 2013 will be required in order to make private placement securities? I hope you cleared the demand of the question. Options are option A, business resolution, option B, special resolution, option C, ordinary resolution, option D, unanimous resolution. So among all these options, the correct one is option B, that is your special resolution. So in this question, we should understand first what exactly the meaning of this private placement. So then only we can solve this question. Private placement is a cost-effective way of raising capital without going public. So here company is issuing shares and inviting specific group so that the pressure will be lesser, and also cost will be also lesser as compared to inviting whole public at a time. So this placement means any offer of securities or invitation to subscribe securities to a select group of persons. So this is a very important keyword which I have used here, a select group of persons by a company, other than by a way of public offer, as I said recently. So through issue of a private placement offer letter and which satisfied the conditions specified in Section 42 of Companies Act 2013. So in this whole procedure, a special resolution is required. Now we should understand what exactly this this special resolution. So if I use the simple words, it is a resolution where the intention to propose the resolution as a special resolution which is specified and at least 3/4 votes required for passing the resolution. So this is a condition which needs to be held to start the private placement process in the company. So this is all about the question number 4th. Let's move towards another question, question number 5th. What is term used for an act of allotment of shares under initial public offer according to the Companies Act 2013? Options are option A, allotment, option B, public issue, option C, transfer, option D, none. So here again, first there are some keywords which we need to be very specific, very clearly exact the meaning of. Like in this question, first we need to understand what is IPO, where it is started and by whom it is started, the purpose of this initial public offer. Then easily we can take the idea of this allotment of shares. So now let's come to the point of this question. The correct option is allotment, and allotment commonly refers to the allocation of shares which are granted to a participating underwriting firm during an initial public offer. Remaining surpluses go to the other firms that have won the bid for the right to sell the remaining IPO shares. So what IPO is a procedure which brought by the company while issuing the first time the shares, the any type of securities in market. So I can say these things are related with the capital market of Indian market, where companies are using various components, various sources of raising the fund, raising the capital from the market. So these kind of things which you easily find out in the stock market of India. It is frequently comes in the newspaper, like the IPO of this company. So what kind of things the company acts. So these things I can say a conceptual plus the current kind of things are also included while solving these questions. So there are several types of allotment that arise when new shares are issued, as I just said, and allocated to either new or existing shareholders. So this thing also a new very important information I have mentioned here. This allocation of resources could be issued to new people, new investors, or the existing shareholders who have already invested into the securities, into the shares of the company. So this is all about the idea of this question number 5th. Let's move towards another question number, that is your 6th. According to the Companies Act 2013, company shall receive minimum subscription within 30 days from which of the following process? Options are option A, publication of prospectus, option B, registration of prospectus, option C, issue of prospectus, option D, from the date of opening or of issue. So the correct one is option C, that is your issue of prospectus. So here again we need to understand the new keyword which has used in this question, that is your minimum subscription, that we need to understand while solving this question. Minimum subscription to be received within 30 days of issue of prospectus. In the case of this minimum subscription which is not received, the issue is regarded as failed. So we can say to take care of such eventually, the merchant banker. Merchant banker are those bankers who deal in the matter of giving loan or raising funds or the borrowing the amount for the trade. For that purposes, this is called merchant banker. So in the case of public offer, resort to underwriting, suitable pricing, bringing in anchor investors, etc. So this is the correct option, issue of prospectus. So whenever the company issue the prospectus or inviting the public to invest into this any securities in the company, then definitely minimum subscription will be received within 30 days. Then only it can be materialized in the company. So this is all about question number 6. Next, move towards question number 7. As per the Companies Act 2013, prospectus without complete quantum of price of the securities is called. Options are option A, shelf, option B, abridged, option C, red herring, option D, deemed. So among these options, the correct one is option C, that is your red herring. So this is a type of prospectus which we need to understand. So as per the section 32 of Companies Act 2013, a company proposing to make an offer of securities which may issued a red herring prospectus prior to the issue of a prospectus. It is basically a prospectus which is used in the public issue to attract different investors. Now we should understand exact meaning of this red herring. So basically it is a type of prospectus which means a prospectus which does not include complete particulars of the quantum of or price of the securities. That is included in the definition of this prospectus. In simple terms, we can say this is a prospectus which contains most of the information pertaining to the company's operations and prospectus, but does not include any kind of details of the issue such as its price and the number of shares. So basically it is a invitation process, hence it is called prospectus, but it is not mentioning the price of shares or the number of shares which is clearly defined in the prospectus, in the journal prospectus. So hence it is it fulfills the demand of the question, the prospectus without complete quantum of price. That is your correct answer, red herring. Next question is 8th, which talk about, according to the Companies Act 2013, prospectus must contain an opinion of which of the following? Options are option A, expert, option B, independent experts, option C, independent director, option D, directors. So among these options, the correct one is independent director. So we need to understand what is the meaning of this independent director and how it is defined particular as per this section of this Companies Act 2013. So as per this section 2 clause 47, independent director means an independent director which referred to in subsection 5th of section 149. See, while solving these questions, one thing which might you confused, like you have to remember all these sections or not. See, I would say partially you have to remember, but not mug up all these sections. According to me, as per the demand of the or as per the frequency of the questions of the topics which comes across your in your examination frequently, for some point of time, that extent you have to remember overall sections, right, so that you can easily relate. So section 149 clause 6 contains that an independent director in relation to the company means a director other than a managing director. So this is a director who is not managing director or a whole-time director or a nominee director. Then these are these positions are not related with this particular position. Then what is the role, then what is the purpose of having this independent director in the company? So this is a director who, in the opinion of the board, is a person of integrity and possesses relevant expertise and experience. It is who is or was not a promoter of the company, or its holding, subsidiary or associate company. It is not related to the promoters. Promoter means a person who create an idea to bring the company in the market, or directors in the company, or not having holding any subsidiary or associate company. So this is a independent director who ready to give his experiences, but not having the real position of the managing director in the board of directors in the company. So this is all about the independent director. Next we have, according to the Companies Act 2013, which of the following is not a clause of Memorandum of Association? Options are: option A, office; option B, capital; option C, subscription; option D, directors. So among these options, the correct one is option D, that is your directors. So ultimate, what you need to solve this question, the demand of this question, which is not a clause. So while going through all the provisions which are mentioned in the Memorandum of Association, which I explained in the previous questions, it is a legal document which relates with the formation, the registration of company. So it contains everything except directors. It contains a name clause, registered office, business location clause, what would be the objective, what would be the liability clause, capital clause, as well as association clause. Everything would be included in this document, but except directors. So here I clearly written here these are legal documentation that are prepared prior to the registration of limited liability companies. Yes, it is it is a first task of the promoter of the company to prepare this legal document while or before registering the company at the registrar office of as per the provision of the Company Act 2013. So this kind of question can also be asked in your examination. So go through very with the very focus point, focus with the very focus of your mind. Next question is, what will be the remedy given in the Companies Act 2013 in case of misrepresentation in prospectus? Options are: option A, remedy against company only; option B, remedy against director and promoter; option C, remedy against experts; option D, all of the above. So as per the demand of this question, all the options correct itself, hence the correct option is D, that is your all of the above. So here what we need to solve, the remedy given to whom? Remedy for the shareholders of the company. If anything is misrepresentation in the prospectus, it is also remedy for all the investors who are investing their own money in the buying shares of or any securities of the company. Then definitely they must be having this kind of remedy, which against for everyone, whether it is company, whether it is director, whether it is experts, whosoever. So the aggrieved shareholder has two remedies against the company, that are rescission of the contract and damages for fraud. So the remedy against the promoters, the directors, the experts, the person authorized the issue of the prospectus. So everything will be included here. Either resist the contract, or the aggrieved party, the aggrieved shareholder may ask for the damages, which could be held for the fraud. So when we are talking about these damages for misstatement or misrepresentation in prospectus, which could be related with the pricing of the share, the number of the shares, the financial records of the company, which reflects somewhere up grow or in the positive manner, but in reality it is not. Because shareholders, while investing their money into any companies, they go through with the financial position of the company in the market, which could be reflected in the prospectus. If it is this kind of information is given in the prospectus in a false manner, then definitely shareholders are exploited by the company. Then there must be remedy which must be given as per the Companies Act 2013, so that they could be protected. So directors, promoters, experts and others who have authorized the issue of the prospectus are liable for the compensation and compensate the aggrieved shareholder for the loss or damages which he may have to incur because of the untrue statement. Next, we have damages for non-disclosure of material facts. So if a material facts has been omitted from the prospectus, the person responsible for the issue which shall be fined up to rupees 50,000. And B, the aggrieved can recover damages from the persons who are responsible for the issue. So these are the remedies which are clearly given in the Companies Act 2013 to protect these shareholders from the exploitation of the companies. So this is all about the ideas of Companies Act MCQs. I hope you clearly got the point. Thank you and keep learning.